This is Hexagon set number 12, Nellie. The first motif in this set is number 166, and it's the six-pointed star. Here's one of them. This is actually one large blue triangle and then 3 yellow diamonds that are stitched on top. That helps you keep this a little bit nice and straight, easier to keep it straighter. And then one suggestion that I would make is that whenever you have something that might not slip out of place, but stretch a little bit, if you'll put a little bit of heat and bond behind it and then cut it out, and always use a ruler and a rotary cutter to get those edges nice and straight. You won't be able to heat and bond by heat. You won't be able to stick it onto the other pieces, but it will help stabilize it. And then you can just leave that piece of heat and bond, attached onto the back side. So this is motif number 166. The next one is the shoe fly block. And this one is, I think, a really cute one. It's very simple, but you can really doll it up with some of your fun stitches. So these are just 4 triangles and a square that are appliqued on with an edge around to form a block. And then there's lazy daisies and French knots in the middle to make it have a little bit of a pattern. The next motif is called the daisy chain. And this is a very simple motif, and this stitch in the middle is the drizzle stitch, and there's several of them, different lengths, and this is a really fun stitch to add texture. So that's the drizzle stitch done in the center on the daisy chain block. The next one is the variable star. And this is also a fun block, I think. You could cut out an orange square for the center, layer it on top of a blue square, and then you could cut out these just around the outside and have it be one large piece. Or you could cut them, separate pieces for these orange points if you'd like. Again, just some very simple couched little things there through the middle, but the quilt blocks allow you to add some embellishing to quite a few things. Alright, this one is the Dresden Plate, and on this one the whole entire Dresden Plate was cut out of pink, and then blue blades and yellow blades were then appliqued on top. So there's it's layered up a little bit. This would also be cute to do a button or a small yo-yo or something like that in the center, or embellish it a little bit also. This would be a really fun one to do a fly stitch or some sort of a decorative, a fern leaf or something down the blades where they attach to each other. This next one is also in the quilt, so let me find it. Here it is. This one is called the whirlwind block, and again this was one large pink square with brown triangles and beige triangles appliqued on top. This block would also work without having a background. You could have the blue be the background and not even put down a square, but it adds another color. Either way is great, and I love how this one has the little quilted stitches, just running stitch to look like it was been quilted. The next block is called Pride of the Prairie, and this is a traditional block. You could cut out the whole entire saw blade out of one fabric and then layer the centers on the top. And traditionally there's 2 colors in the center opposite of each other. And that's just a really cute one. There's a blanket stitch here, a star stitch in the middle. This next one is the last quilt block in the series, and this is the cactus basket. And traditionally a cactus basket has 4 different colors of pinks or reds, and then a lot of times this little basket comes down in a V with 2 different colors here. But I like how this is done a little bit simpler. You can mix up the colors or break it up into smaller pieces if you'd like. Now we're starting into the vegetables, and this next one is the artichoke. And on your pattern it has a lot of separate leaves that you could applique using different greens, or this one was done very, very simply by cutting the entire artichoke shape out, including the stem, out of one green, and then they just couched, cross-hatched, and then tacked the threads that went across, and it looks really fun and it looks very artichoke-ish. So you don't have to cut out a bunch of different greens and a bunch of different leaves. The next one is the beet, and this again is another very simple motif. A lot of stitching on the little leaves. It's a good color for that beet. This one is the pea pods, the peas, and this one you could have a lot of fun with. The pea pods on this one are 3 different greens, and then the peas are a separate piece of green wool. This would be so cute to stitch green buttons down and overlap them a little bit, and then put the little side piece on here. You could even cut little wool balls in half and stitch them on if you wanted little rounded peas on there. That's one that you could really use your imagination on. Next is the eggplant. A lot of these vegetables are very simple motifs, and that gives you the opportunity to embellish them. You could add beads or cross-hatching, or wouldn't it be cute to just put a line of purple beads right here, you know, as a little highlight, and adding some contrasting threads is also kind of fun. It's good if you're putting all these motifs into a quilt to have some motifs that are kind of plain and not very dolled up, because that gives your eye a chance to rest as you're looking at the quilt. This next one is the carrots, and we have all sorts of colors of carrots nowadays. There's purple carrots and white carrots and yellow and orange, and it's just really fun to you know, put some different colored carrots on your motif. This next one is the bicycle. This is one of the hardest ones that you will have, and this was cut out in sections, so you can cut out and then applique over the top using a straight stitch. The wheels are a little bit difficult to get round. I would definitely put heat and bond behind to try and help you keep those nice and rounded. So this is a satin stitch over the top of wool, and definitely back your wool piece, all these little skinny pieces, with some heat and bond also. The basket has cross hatching across it and lazy daisies. The last motif, number 180, is the music notes, and these are just embroidered on there. It's all done with floss. This is one of the few motifs that doesn't have any applique on it. And to get your pattern on to here, you can use a chalk pencil. You can definitely freehand a little bit, and I think it's a cute little motif.